For the purposes of this video, take it with a grain of salt, as this stuff is not 100% confirmed as of yet. But it does make sense that if this is true, and I'm going to lean that I kind of believe it given the source, then there are some pretty big things going on at Xbox. Will that be something that appeals to you? Will it be something that appeals to me? I think that is the real question going forward. Xbox, when they say Xbox will be around, 10 years from now, or Xbox will be around, 15 years from now, I don't think they're talking about like the actual Xbox itself. I think they're talking more about the Xbox in terms of the name, with what they're trying to do. I think, Xbox unfortunately no longer is a box. And I know some people are fine with that. They're like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. For me, if Xbox isn't the box and it isn't a console, then, I'm not interested in it. So, again, at the end of the day, we'll see if this is true or not, but I wanted to dive into this. So anyway, this is from Jez Gordon from Windows Central. I know some of you guys like him, some of you don't, whatever. He's a good guy. I talk to Jez all the time. He has people that he talks to from Microsoft. He has information. He has a good track record with stuff. Doesn't mean that everything's always been right. No, but here's what we do know, according to him. He said that he heard Microsoft had an all-hands-on-deck meeting recently with Phil Spencer, where they discussed what the future of Xbox looked like and discussed the rumors of going third-party. Phil said the decisions we make today are about ensuring Xbox's future, not for years, but for decades to come, and Xbox will be stronger in the years and decades to come, and he specifically said that that includes hardware. By the way, that doesn't really take away the idea that they would do like third-party stuff. Like hardware could mean anything, realistically, because he does talk a lot about, and listen, to me, I think that he was kind of talking about something to get people to stop talking about the negative Xbox stuff, right? So when he starts bringing up other stores to the Xbox console, I feel like that was to maybe take some of the heat off of the exclusive situation, or Xbox not getting certain third-party games, because, what if Xbox had these other stores and then they would always get the game? But the thing about that is, and I always caution this, if it's indeed a business, like he keeps reiterating, Microsoft gets $0. Like let's say the next Xbox launched and it had a Steam store, an Epic Game Store, good old Game Score, whatever the stores may be. Let's say it launches and it's got like 4 or 5 stores on there. First of all, myself, anybody else, if you wanted to play a game online, let's say you wanted to buy Call of Duty and play it online, why buy it on the Xbox store, where you also have to buy, Game Pass, at least Game Pass Core, to play online, when you could buy it on a different way and not have to pay that? So people could circumvent paying online, so Microsoft would lose money that way. They would also, not even just talking about Call of Duty, because they own that, so even on Steam they would get, or I don't think it is on Steam, but even on a different launcher, let's just say, and a different game, they would only get 70% of what that would end up being. So at the end of the day, let's just say another third-party game, let's say just for instance, like a game that's going to be coming out here pretty soon, and Microsoft, you could either buy it on the Xbox store, or you could buy it on the Steam store. Well, if you buy it on the Steam store, Microsoft gets none of that. So how does that good for business? Like, that's always kind of my question. It really kind of also ruins the whole ease of use thing. So anyway, also an Xbox higher up recently DM'd Jez saying, and I quote, "There's a lot of things that we do wrong at Microsoft, and there's a lot of things that would change, but there are a lot of things that maybe I understand people being worried about. But there's one thing you shouldn't worry about, and that is the commitment to gaming." So according to Jez, there's been a disruption in the brand, and part of that disruption is how costs have grown in recent years. Everything has gotten more expensive, and that's why they put Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, because Rare had no cash flow apart from Sea of Thieves, and with expenses going up, especially in the UK, adding another revenue stream is crucial. Microsoft wants each division to stand on its own 2 feet. Every team needs to stand on their own 2 feet eventually. Which Jez also added, that the Sea of Thieves part is speculation on his end. Running a live service game has gotten gradually more expensive. Note issues Bungie is having right now with it's logical for Sea of Thieves to go broad to support the studio's future, etc., etc., like how Bethesda has with Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online. But I'll point out with that Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76 were already games that were multi-platform, so those kind of things. It's like this. It's like if a game needs to, anytime a game doesn't maybe do what it's supposed to, or like to me, Sea of Thieves was, it's always a top played Xbox game. It sold millions and millions of copies. Sometimes those games just run their course. It doesn't mean you put them on, your competing platform. So to me, they can talk about all they want about how they're going to stay in the hardware business, but if people aren't buying your hardware, then what's the only what's the real purpose of buying that hardware? I know Phil believes that it's an iPhone slash Android situation, but it's really not, because if you can get all the same apps on Android and all the same apps on iPhone, that's one thing, but you can't get all the same games on Xbox as you can on PlayStation, right? And vice versa. So if they're putting their games on PlayStation, it really does kind of lead you in a weird kind of situation where they're the only ones doing it. And I don't think that's good for gaming. I don't think that's good for anybody, to be honest with you. Honestly, this is something that Jez also says that they're doing these types of games, putting out there kind of a data gathering exercises to see how these games do. And again, but just with recent comments that that Phil has made recently, I wouldn't expect anything to be off limits in terms of exclusives for whatever reason. I mean, it's funny because he talks about the cost of AAAs going up, but the only AAA that they ported was Sea of Thieves, which has been already a success for 6 years. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like Grounded, they ended support for that. Hi-Fi Rush, they ended support for that. Pentiment, obviously, that was a super niche title. So I think that, eventually other stuff will come. Like, listen, I'm sure that for them to be able to have Indiana Jones probably cost them a ton of money to rent that license. So if that game doesn't do a certain amount of people buying into Game Pass or sales or whatever, then I for sure think they'll put that on PlayStation. Same thing with like Hellblade 2. Like if these games aren't getting their return on investment, then I think for sure that they're going to put them to PlayStation. I think what maybe would save Starfield was it had a big PC buy-in on the Steam side of things, right? I don't think stuff like Hellblade 2 and Indiana Jones are going to have that same luxury. So, they can talk a good game about, hey, we're going to stay in hardware, we're going to do this, but when haven't they talked a good game, right? Trust me, I've been an Xbox fan forever. They always talk, but they rarely have delivered yet. So I'm going to wait and see how some of this unfolds. Let me know what you guys think, though. Sound off in the comments below. I'm Crap Gamer, and this is Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.